Good morning, Citywide Gardens family. Today is Saturday, February 7th. I am a week past the scheduled time to strain my fire cider, but look, it's even more fabulous. So I had 3 of them. I gave one away. So I just started straining this first one. I'm taking all of everything out. Gonna do the same thing to the other 2. And then I am going to put all the pieces, parts that were in the fire cider into my food processor. Just chop them up a little bit. And then I'm going to put them in the dehydrator. Dehydrate them until they are completely crispy. Then I am going to blend them again into a powder to use as a seasoning on whatever you want it on. So not sure how much this will make, but I will take videos as the process goes on. Okay, I have strained all 3 jars. I have taken out the jalapenos and the red chilies. I don't want to dehydrate them, add those to the seasoning powder. It may be extremely too hot, and this has been infused plenty. I've actually squeezed all of the bits, lemons, limes, and oranges. I took the skin off the oranges because it was kind of thick and squoze. I didn't completely squeeze everything out of them, you know, just most of it. And now I am straining what I got. I got about 3 quarts of actual liquid. So I'm going to put them back in these jars and then use them as a daily health booster. Keep the cold and the flu away. Clear out my chest, things of that nature. And then I will, like I said, dehydrate. Chop all these pieces up in the food processor and dehydrate them. And I will also show you that as well. All right, we are about halfway through putting it through the food processor. And this is what it's coming out like. I'm not trying to ground it down to very tiny, but this is what the slice and shred has been able to do. So see, the lime pieces and the orange pieces are a little smaller and consistent. I probably will put this whole thing through a cheesecloth and squeeze out because there's a lot of juice still in here, which is fine. But I'll get the extra juice out before I put it on the dehydrator. So I'm going to continue and finish shredding all of this. And I even took the rosemary off of the stems. There's the stems there because they're very, very tough, very woody. And I will show you the next step. Okay, I have now taken all of oranges, lemons, limes, garlic, ginger, turmeric, onions. What else is in there? Rosemary, and all of that out. And I have chopped it all up in the food processor. This was the original amount of liquid that I got from straining. So this one is 5 cups, and this one is a little over 6 cups. And this is what I got from putting this through a cheesecloth. So we're about 2.5 cups, maybe almost 3. So I am going to add that into here. So they'll both be equal and have all of the same stuff in each one. And even some of the stuff has started to settle at the bottom there. Now on to the next step of dehydrating all of this. Okay, now this is the strained through the cheesecloth leftover juice mixed in with the original. So we are probably maybe 7 cups each. So try to do it as even as possible. All right, like I said, on to the next step, but I wanted to show you the difference between the original strain and then this adding in with the cheesecloth juice. Be back. All right, I have now put all of the chopped up Fire Cider ingredients into my dehydrator. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I ended up with 5 trays, and this will go probably for 2 days. This is nothing fancy. This thing was $5 at a yard sale. All you do is plug it in. There's no numbers or nothing special. You don't need special equipment or spend a lot of money, I should say. But you can find a dehydrator, Facebook Marketplace. I found this one on Facebook Marketplace, but I didn't need it today because I ended up starting with this one, and this is what I'm going to stick with. Even this one has temperatures and things you can set. I decided to start with this one, and I'm not going to need this one, so that's fine. This literally just gets plugged in, and there's an element in the bottom that heats up, and the heat just rises and dries everything out. I did get these little silicone mats off of Amazon because some of the holes of this dehydrator tray are kind of big, and some of this stuff would have fallen through, but I already had the silicone mats from Amazon. And again, it came in a pack of like 15 maybe for like $8. So if you do have that desire to want to dehydrate things, and you can find not expensive options, let's put it that way. So I'm going to put the lid on this and let this go. I will switch the racks out. The one at the bottom is going to get drier faster, so at some point, maybe this evening, I'll switch them out, rotate them, and I'll do that for the next day or so, depending on how long it takes to dry everything out. I mean, the oranges, lemons and limes, peels, which are in here, are probably going to take longer than anything else. That's the end of an onion. This is a piece of, that's a lemon. I had a piece of ginger in here somewhere. But, you know, the thicker things will take a little bit longer to dry out, but I'm just going to move everything around on the trays, rotate the trays, top to bottom, and go from there. I will let you know what it looks like when it's all dried. All right, Citywide Gardens family, I'm on to the next step of the Fire Cider pulp that was in the Fire Cider. I am now turning it into seasoning on my dehydrator. So now I'm just taking everything off the trays and just putting it in a jar for now until I can get to it and grind it up into a powder. But I did want to show you this next step. All right, Citywide Gardens family, this is the last step. I am now grinding up all of the dried pieces from my Fire Cider into a seasoning powder. So this was just the very first batch. I do it in little batches so I can get it as fine as possible. It's about as good as it's going to get. I'll just continue until all of this is done. All right, last little bit here, and I will grind that and show you how much I got. All right, all done, and that's probably a cup and a half, but it's very potent and it will go a long way. I'd probably use this on chicken. I'll probably use this on anything actually. But again, I would mix this obviously with other seasonings because this is very, very potent And especially with the citrus that's in there, that'll definitely add a big punch of flavor to anything. But that's the process, start to finish of the fire cider. You've seen the first part that I made the fire cider, and then it sat for 7 weeks. And this last video, this is the end of the processing after the fire cider has sat for that time frame. Hope you enjoy it. Bye.